And this isn't going to be about do this or don't do that. It's more going to be about three things as you're sitting down to think about, oh, I want to get married on an island, or I want to get married at a Tuscan villa. These are three things I think you need to immediately introduce into the conversation with your significant other, your betrothed, and then kind of go from there, okay? So number one is always hire a planner, right, and come to me. But really number one for today is going to be consider a trip before the trip. I highly suggest, and I cannot say this enough, I highly suggest that you go before the wedding, right? So you have a trip and that you have your planner in place before you do that. Bring your planner with you. Look at venues, or maybe you've selected the venue in advance, right? At least one trip prior to the wedding day where you can see the venue, meet the vendors you're working with, taste the food, get an idea for where you're going to be and what that experience will be like for your guests. Number two, hire the vendor that's right for you. Big takeaway for me is make sure that you don't get stuck in the mindset of hire local or only destination. Key point to know when you're planning a wedding is that the experience that a vendor has in their particular category, their talent is not based upon how many times they've worked in a space. It's based on their experience. So for them to be able to film a beautiful wedding, photograph a beautiful wedding, or produce a beautiful wedding, it's about having experience doing just that, not where they're physically doing it, right? My last one is to consider your guests. The initial conversation is, what is it going to be like for your guests during this time? And first and foremost, how are they going to get there, right? So if you're doing an event on an island in the middle of, I don't know, the Aegean Sea, right? Can they only get there like one day a week by one boat? That might be difficult. Well, it should always be about the two of you and what the two of you want to create for that day. If it is really important to you to be surrounded by loved ones and celebrate with those people that mean something to you, thinking about how easily your guests can access the location is a key component to the decision-making process. So these are the things to think about when you're planning a destination wedding. If you want to think about more or have a conversation, you know where to find me.